Hey students, Joe Wright here, founder of Smart Study Methods, bringing you information to help you achieve excellent grades in your studies. The topic that I want to speak about today is how to remember what you study. I know that this is a concern for many of you because you spend hours and hours studying and revising, preparing for exams, and yet when it comes down to it, you don't always remember everything that you need to. And I know how frustrating this can be because it happened to me a fair few times in the past as well. This was until I learned how to study effectively, and then things became much easier. Now I've got lots of information to share, so I'm going to break it down over a series of different videos, this being the first one. So let's get started. While studying, we are calling upon the powers of the mind to absorb information, understand it, and recall it at a later stage. Now, if you think about the use of any resource, whether it's your phone, your laptop, your iPad or camera, whatever it happens to be, if you want to make the best use of it, then you need to know how it works, right? Makes sense. So following that same logic then, if you want to know how to remember what you study, then you need to know how memories and information are stored in the mind. So this is the main thing that I want to share with you today. A few years ago, I read a book called The Disciplined Trader. Now this book was more about psychology and how the mind works than it was about trading or anything else. Now in this book, the author Mark Douglas states that memories are stored in the mind as charged energy, positive, negative, and neutral. He goes on to explain that the quality of energy with which our memories are stored depends upon two main things. Number one, the polarity of the charge, that is whether it's positive or negative. And number two, the intensity of the charge, that is whether there's a lot of it or a little bit. Essentially, my understanding is this. How easily we remember things depends upon how much positive or negatively charged energy is associated with the experience. This is one of the most important things that you need to understand when it comes to learning how to remember what you study and pretty much anything else. Let me give you a practical example. If I were to ask you what you did on your last holiday, birthday, special event, whatever that happens to be, what would you say? See, now I'm not there with you, but I'm pretty sure that you could tell me all about it. In fact, you are probably thinking about it right now, and you could tell me who was there, what you did, how much fun you had, and so much more, right? Now consider this. You didn't know that I was going to ask you that question, yet you have the answer ready. That alone tells you that your mind has the ability to recall large amounts of information without you even trying. Okay, so I'm not suggesting that you will be able to remember everything that you study without trying, but it's just an indication of what your mind has the ability to do. What about if I asked you what you had for dinner last Tuesday? Could you tell me? Do you even remember? Okay, so you might remember straight away, or you may need to think about it a bit first. Even more than you had to think about recalling the memory from the first experience that we looked at. Now the likely reason for that is because the first experience was likely stored in your mind with a lot more positively charged energy than what you had for dinner last Tuesday. What about your studies then? If I asked you what you studied last Tuesday, could you tell me? I know I don't mean just the subject, engineering, psychology, business management. I mean, can you give me a summary or a breakdown of the things that you learnt and understand from last Tuesday? What about yesterday or even today? Now, chances are for some of you, the answer in those three study scenarios is no. You couldn't summarize what you learnt on those different days because you don't remember. And if that's you, then don't worry about it. Because honestly, if you had asked me the same questions before I was studying for my master's, then I would have had to answer no to some of those as well. This was before I learned how memories are stored in the mind, and I began to study in such a way that made it much easier for me to remember information. In upcoming videos, I'll be sharing with you some of the practical methods that I used to help me remember what I studied. So if you want to hear more, make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can get the latest videos. Also, head over to smartstudymethods.com and sign up for the free updates. One last thing, if you found this information useful, then I want you to do me a favor. Share it with someone else who you think might find it beneficial so that they can have a chance at achieving excellent grades too. I'll see you soon.